Happy Thanksgiving, and it's throwback weekend here at footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 12 preview between the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Titans.
When Jake Locker returned back to the Titans offense, what he brought with him was the element of athleticism from the quarterback position. Now the Titans are able to run their boots, their waggles. They're able to get more creative in their passing attack, and that's what they're going to have to use against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I'm sure are going to come after Locker with a lot of different pressures, a lot of different blitzes to try to throw him off the spot. And what that does is also open up opportunities for Chris Johnson. So when you have a mobile guy back there in the pocket, it does wonders for your running game. It keeps the backside defensive end at bay, and it also allows the offensive lineman to get to the second level, which means Chris Johnson should have more room to run the football this week versus Jacksonville. Now, on the defensive side of the football, you look at the safeties. Babineau and also Griffin, they will be put to the test because now the Jaguars, with the change at quarterback, will be able to throw the football. So now they're going to go to more 3-4 wide receiver sets. Can those safeties effectively cover the third and fourth receivers and Mercedes Lewis in the passing game? That's going to be the biggest question because Jacksonville can put a lot of pressure on the defense. There's talent in a receiving core. Now they have the quarterback to match that. The Titans have to be ready to cover if they're going to be successful this week versus Jacksonville. Now let's move over to the Jaguars in this matchup, and before we talk about the passing game, let's concentrate on the interior offensive line and what they're able to do in the running game. That's what's keeping the Jaguars in these ball games. They're able to run the football quiet as kept without Maurice Jones-Drew. If he was back there, yes, it's an added benefit, but Evan Britton and company have been doing a sound job in opening up holes on the interior for the running game. Now, when you get Justin Blackman, a quarterback that can actually get him the football, you see why the Jaguars invested a first-round pick in this young man. I think he can have a lot of effectiveness versus that Titans secondary. You move him around the formation, you put him on the interior, you can put him on the flanks, put him on the same side with Mercedes Lewis, and now you create disadvantages for that defense, and that way you can take advantage this week versus Tennessee. Now let's move over to the defense. You look at Mel Tucker, defensive coordinator. When you're facing a guy like Locker that's a mobile quarterback, you have to get creative in your blitz packages. You can either come down the middle, that A-gap pressure that can also cause problems, or you have to flush the quarterback to one side. So look for Mel Tucker to get exotic this week versus Tennessee. And the linebacking core, same assignment as they had last week. They have to make sure they scrape and attack downhill, stop the running game, put Tennessee in passing situations. You want to make this game Chad Henne versus Jake Locker, and if that's the case, then this is a matchup that the Jaguars can definitely win. X factor for the Titans will be the secondary. I'm pretty sure the Jacksonville Jaguars will go more 3 or 4 wide receiver sets this week, so look for these guys to get put to the test by Chad Henne. And speaking of Chad Henne, he's the X factor in my opinion for the Jaguars. Can he have an encore performance? Not necessarily throwing for over 300 yards like he did last week versus the Texans, but can he be efficient enough to give these guys balance? That's what was lacking from this Jags offense. Now let's look at the personnel breakdown in this ball game. Defensively, I like what the Jags bring to the table at the linebacking position and in the secondary. I think they match up very well versus Tennessee. Now you look at the Titans, they have the advantage at the quarterback position. Jake Locker is a guy that can do a lot of damage on the flanks. We'll see how this all plays out. Since it's throwback week at Football Game Plan, we're going to give a shout out to some throwback players for each team. Ernest Givens is my throwback player of the week for the Tennessee Titans. This guy played from 86 to 94 in Houston, and despite his 5'9", 178-pound frame, this guy was fearless going across the middle and made a lot of clutch catches. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, the throwback player of the week is Tony Boselli. From 95 to 01, anchored the left side of the line of scrimmage. And I've always said, listen, if I'm going to take a lineman in the first round, he either better be Orlando Pace-like or Tony Boselli-like. That's the standard. I like what he brought to the table week in, week out for Jacksonville. I like the Titans in this ball game. I like what Jake Locker brings to the table. It's that mobility, and that just opens up your offense and makes you tougher to defend. And quiet as kept, the Titans do have a collection of talent at the receiver position. On the defensive side of the football, their linebacking core does well in short area coverage. I think that's going to play a huge role in these guys winning the game defensively. So look for the Titans to go on the road and take one from the Jaguars. And I want to give a huge shout out to the Jaguar fan forums and Titan fan forums for always showing Football Game Plan support.